What is up, everyone? Welcome to Newtown, one of Sydney's most prominent inner west suburbs. It's a suburb full of culture, a lot of street art and colour in the area. It's very vibrant, full of great bars, cafes and restaurants. It's been described as the bohemian paradise here in Sydney. But is it the right suburb for you, and would you like to live here? Let's find out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, your local expert here in Sydney's Inner West. I help first home buyers and young families navigate the really tricky real estate market here in Sydney. I do that by providing community tours around different suburbs. I do inspections throughout the week and look at different properties, and I provide free education for those looking to buy a home. So today we're going to look at Newtown, the suburb here in Sydney's Inner West, and are making our way up onto King Street, which is the really prominent street here in Newtown, and we're going to have a look at what it has to offer. As you can see behind me, an awful lot of street art and murals. They're very, very apparent all throughout the suburb. So let's get into it now. So I hope you enjoyed that view of King Street and everything it has to offer, all the great shops and cafes and an awful lot of energy around the street. Next thing I wanted to cover was the cafes in Newtown. Now in Australian culture, coffee is massive. They put an awful lot of emphasis on their coffee, and it's turned me personally into a bit of a coffee snob as someone who didn't really put a lot of emphasis on coffee. And a quick note on Newtown, it's a very young suburb. I think the median age here is about 34 years of age. So an awful lot of young people, an awful lot of young couples, young families living in this area. And we're only 5 kilometers from Sydney CBD. So it offers that flexibility of not actually living in the city, but being able to get in there very, very quickly. And now let's go have a quick look at some of the best and my favorite cafes all around Newtown. So first up on our list today is Schenken, just on King Street there. Unfortunately today it was closed, but no matter, we went on to number 2 on the list, which is Campos Coffee. Anyone that's been to Sydney knows these little green cups and seen them around. This is where it all started. This is the original here in Newtown. And then finally, my favorite, Brewtown, which is a coffee roaster. They roast their own coffee beans here, and it's set in an old industrial building just off King Street. So it's very accessible, and you guessed it, I got a coffee and it was just as good as I remember. And to top it all off, I got a Reuben sandwich. Anyone that loves Reuben, look at that. Pastrami, sauerkraut, pickles, yeah, so good. Man, that was a cracking good Reuben. So let's get cracking on, keep going around the suburb and see what else Newtown has to offer. And the great thing about Newtown is it's a very, very young suburb. I think the median age in the entire suburb is about 34 years of age. So a lot of young people, a lot of young couples, and the University of Sydney is just on the outskirts of the suburb. So it gets a lot of the students. It brings a lot of energy to the suburb, and it feels like there's always something going on. Next, we're going to have a look at a few of the restaurants that Newtown has to offer, and some of them are absolutely spectacular. First on the list is a little restaurant called Continental Deli Bar, my favorite place in Newtown to get a sandwich. They do great sandwiches, great grazing boards, glass of wine, and their cocktails come in little tins, which is cool. The next up is a kind of a secret place. You have to go down this, I guess, a shortcut down this alleyway, and they do the best ramen in the inner west. It is called Rising Sun, and it's actually a motorbike workshop at the same time as a killer ramen place for the best bowl of ramen to just warm you up. And finally, Bella Bruta wood-fired pizza. What more to say? So good. Unfortunately, I was still full after my Reuben, so I didn't get any videos of food to show you. Man, that Continental bar, so good. Even if you don't plan on living in Newtown, or you're just coming to visit, definitely check that place out. It's just such a nice vibe in there. It's nice and cozy in there, and they do fantastic grub. So now I wanted to move on to the bars that are in Newtown. Obviously, Newtown is pretty much famed for its night owl vibe. Opposite to Bondi in Sydney, which is more of a morning town. Newtown is definitely more of the night owl vibe. So it has a lot more culture going on and a lot more variety when it comes to bars. So 3 of my favorite bars in Newtown are the Courthouse, the Earl Duke joint, and of course Young Henry's, where it all started in its roots here in Newtown. Unfortunately, it's just starting to come down here a bit, so I'm probably going to duck in and get a bit of cover, and then we'll cover the bars. See you then. So you probably noticed a lot of the street art around in Newtown, and behind me here, if I can get a better angle, is the Martin Luther Memorial. It's probably the most famous mural here in Newtown. It was actually painted in the middle of the night on a Friday. They started at 7 p.m, painted straight through the night. Didn't get permission for it, and the best thing about it is recently it was just approved by Marrickville Council and heritage listed, so it's going to be here to stay and here forever, which is phenomenal. When interviewed the original painters, they say it represents environmentalism, civil rights and gender equality. And as you can see, there is Martin Luther King, who was inscribed onto it as well, and the words, "I have a dream." And for anyone wondering, that is a tribute to the Aboriginal First Nations people here in Australia. It's a mark of respect and acknowledgement towards the Gadigal people. So you may be wondering, where are the best places in Newtown to live? In my opinion, one of the best streets is this street that I'm on here now, Watkins Street. As you can see, unlike the rest of Newtown, it is a pretty wide street, 2 sides of traffic and 2 sides that can park on. and a lot of the houses around here are old Victorian houses, and a lot of them have been refurbished, renovated, and a lot of families living on this street, which gives it a lot of tight-knit community feel about it. And if you walk back up the way I'm going, you get to the top of King Street and you're right there. So you're just off the hustle and bustle, but at the same time tucked away on this beautiful, beautiful street. The other two streets that in my opinion are the best are Don Street and Warren Ball Avenue. So let's go take a look at them. Okay, whew, what a day. I hope you really enjoyed that, and I hope you got a great feeling of what Newtown is like and what the suburb has to offer for those looking to live there or those looking to relocate into that suburb from interstate or possibly immigrating to Sydney. So now that we've been through the fun stuff that the suburb has to offer, let's get down to the more serious side of things, the numbers, and whether it makes financial sense to actually live in Newtown. So I touched on a few of the numbers earlier throughout the video, but now I'll give a more concise view of what you need to know. So the total population of the suburb is about 15,000 people, and it's almost evenly broken down. About 52% of those are men and 48% are women. It's just a short 5k from the Sydney CBD, and the median age throughout the suburb is only 34 years, making it an extremely young suburb and proves why it is so popular for young families, young couples, and young professionals. It also boasts a very handsome median weekly income of $2,328, which is about $500 more than the median national weekly income. In terms of dwelling breakdown, there's about 62% of the suburb made up of houses, while 38% of the suburb is represented by apartments or units. An important note to make is the suburb is made up of about 58% renters and 42% owner-occupiers. An important note to make if you do have small children and you plan on living in Newtown, the school that your child attends is determined by where in the suburb the house you are living in lies. Different school catchment areas occupy different parts of the suburb. So if a child attending a certain public school is very important to you, then you want to make sure that you are buying a house that falls within the catchment area of that school. There are essentially 6 main public schools that fall in the Newtown suburb catchment area, 5 of which are primary and then 1 secondary school. They are made up of Australia Street Infants Primary School, Newtown Public School Primary School, Darlington Public School Primary School, Newtown North Public School Primary School, and Camdenville Public School Primary School. And the 1 secondary school is the Newtown School of High Performing Arts. Now the part that everybody has been waiting for, house prices. So I'll cover houses first and then I'll move on to units. In terms of a 2-bed house, the median house price you would be looking to pay is around about $1,455,000. A 3-bed house will set you back about $1.8 million, and a 4-bed house is going to be north of $2.3 million. For an overall house median price in the Newtown suburb of $1.8 million. Now for units, a lovely 1-bed unit in the Newtown suburb will set you back about $620K, and a 2-bed unit will be just short of $1 million at $980K. You can find 3-bed units in Newtown, however they are difficult to find, and usually anyone that does own them is not going to let go of them for anything other than a very premium price. So an overall median price for units in the Newtown suburb is $760,000. So that is your inner west of Sydney Newtown suburb guide. I hope that helps any first home buyers that are watching or any young families that are interested in perhaps moving and living in the Newtown suburb. If you enjoyed that video and you would like to see more of these suburb reviews, please subscribe and leave a comment below on what suburb you would like me to do next. My name's Andy. Thanks for watching.